I am Nishika, and today we have yet another star student, Tanishq Sharma, who has gracefully agreed to bless us with his presence today on the GIIS podcast series, The Smartcast. He secured 44 on 45 in the IBDP Year 2 exams. Today, we will have yet another enlightening session wherein Tanishq will share with us the journey he embarked on to reach such heights of brilliance and success. Tanishq has excelled in the academic field and is a proud owner of the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Academic Proficiency Silva for the year 2017 and 18, and he consecutively received the Professor Abid Hussain Academic Proficiency Gold for the year 2018-19. He has also managed to excel in other fields outside of academics, such as being part of the under 19 school tennis team. His talents did not go unnoticed and was awarded with the prestigious Global Future Skills Merit Scholarship for the years 2019-2021. Without further ado, it would be my pleasure to invite Tanishq on our podcast today. Hello, Tanishq. It is truly wonderful to have you on the Smartcast today. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. I would firstly like to congratulate you for your commendable and truly astounding grades, and let you know that your achievements have left me in awe.
Thank you.
I am dying to know, what were your responses after seeing such fantastic results? Was it a total shocker or was it something that you were expecting?
When I first received the results, it was the mix of surprise and also a sense of relief because since ever since the IB exams had been cancelled, there was so much uncertainty regarding how our results would be assigned. And to find that despite that, I received the score that I did, it was very satisfying and also relieving. Although initially I'd been hoping for a 45, I think with time I convinced myself that a 44 was the next best thing. And in the end, I'm pretty happy with my result.
Oh wow, that is truly great. Success and gaining an impressive portfolio like yours definitely must not have been an easy thing to accomplish. For the benefit of our listeners, it would be great if you could share with us the little tricks and tips that you have or that has helped you.
When I was preparing for the exams, I put a focus on both a conceptual understanding as well as like a practical application of the concepts. So what I discovered was that when you first read through a book, it would give you a false sense of security in the sense that you would feel that you understood everything. But it's only when you actually started doing those practice questions that you would realize certain gaps in your understanding and you would notice certain mistakes. And I actually followed this strategy while I was completing past papers for my exam. So here I would take a note of my mistakes and why I made them. And before the actual final exams, I would go through these notes to ensure that I didn't make those mistakes again. So I think this strategy allowed me to maximize the performance throughout.
Thank you so much, Tanishq. I'm pretty sure that our listeners and myself will take these points into consideration. Despite these tricks, it does not seem like an easy process. And like the other toppers mentioned, they had to find ways to overcome their weaknesses and focus on their strengths. What were those factors for you, and how did you find a healthy balance between them?
I think IBA 2 was especially challenging, especially the October-November period, where we had all these deadlines coming up, and even more importantly, the orals, which would play a significant part in our final grade. And I was especially dreading these orals because I wasn't confident about essentially delivering a verbal essay. So to allow me to tackle this, I put in extensive practice. I would record myself, time myself, and also go through the points that I missed out on. And with enough practice, although at first it felt pretty awkward, with time I became more comfortable with it. And by the time the IOCs actually arrived, I delivered them pretty confidently. And I think this has been the case for a lot of my assignments where I didn't feel comfortable initially, but then I just put in the work ethic, and with time I grew more comfortable with it.
Your efforts to find this balance is truly admirable. By glancing at your impressive achievements, it is evident that this is not the only balance that you found. It seems like you found your sweet spot when it comes to managing your academic responsibilities and also venturing and, in fact, succeeding in the fields of other extracurricular activities. Was this hard to find? And what, according to you, is the significance of finding it?
To be honest, my extracurriculars were pretty limited in year two, although I did try to balance them in year one, where I participated in the school team and organized certain events. But in year two, I found that I really wanted to focus on my finals. So I essentially sidelined those extracurricular activities. But then I think this focus depends on the person who is attempting this course. And it lies up to them how they choose to balance their time. And for me, my priorities were mainly my final grades. So yeah, I essentially prioritized those over extracurricular activities, at least towards the end of the course.
I think that was definitely eye-opening and taught us the importance of prioritization. Exam stress poses to be a nightmare in every student's life. Was this a problem that you faced? And if so, how did you approach to overcome it?
Time is a pretty valuable commodity in IB, and especially towards the end, there's so many deadlines coming up. So you might feel overwhelmed. And I was aware of this from the very start, where I'd heard from my seniors how tense it could get. So from the very outset in IBA 1, I had tried to essentially reduce the workload for my future self by completing certain assignments before they were actually due. And this helped reduce my workload for future years and helped me tackle IBA 2 when it actually finally came up. And naturally, because I had more time in IBA 2, I could give that to school exams and things like college applications. So I think for me, focusing on these assignments from the very outset allowed me to prioritize my time better later and just manage all these different things you're supposed to tackle.
With your excellency, I can say without hesitation that the world is your oyster. We would love to hear what your plans are for that bright future of yours.
Plan to pursue computer science at NUS. And for me, I'm still not sure about what exactly I want to pursue within the field. But at this point, I'm just trying to be as flexible as possible to explore as many avenues as I can. And hopefully through this course, I find a niche that I particularly enjoy and hopefully pursue that in the future.
I wish you the very best towards accomplishing it. Finally, before we bring this informative session to an end, I would like to know your takes and advices on the age-old question. That is, how can we confidently prepare for our exams without worrying about the results?
Easiest if you take it step by step. If you break down your workload into manageable chunks and then you just keep tackling those chunks, then you feel a sense of reward after you complete a chapter. And I think as long as you can discipline yourself and work towards your plan, you'll feel that sense of reward, which will keep driving you forward. And by the time the exams actually arrive, you'll be pretty well prepared to tackle them. And obviously you will perform well.
Thank you so much, Tanishq, for patiently and beautifully answering for all of my questions. It was truly mind-opening and motivating listening to your success story. And on behalf of the entire podcast team, I would like to wish you the very best for your future endeavors. Do continue to shine and seize all the opportunities that come in front of you. And finally, my sincere thanks to the listeners who made it to the end of today's session. Hopefully, you all learned something from our very talented guests, and I hope to interview each one of you about your success story in the future. With that, today's episode on the Smartcast has come to an end. Like always, please do continue to encourage us by sharing, subscribing, and commenting your valuable feedback. Follow us on the SoundCloud at GIIS Smartcast, and do support us by tuning in for the next show. But for today, thank you so much for listening, and this is Nishika Muthakrishnan saying goodbye.